Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 88 of Heard You Like Me, and this one is titled Concerned Yin. Thanks, Dad, you said with a soft sigh. I'll let you know as soon as I can, okay? But thank you for being so willing to help. This is no problem at all, your dad said kindly. How are you doing in the course? Studying hard? Always, you said with a sad smile as you stopped and looked down at the grass. I really like this class. Good. As long as you are a valuable member and diligent with your studies. That is all I could ask for, your dad said. But hurry up, come back, okay? Okay, he replied numbly. There's no way I can tell them how I really feel now, you thought, your downcast gaze almost melting you into the grass. Anyway, I need to go and do my homework now, you said, wanting to wrap up this conversation before you started crying. Of course, we won't keep you, your dad said, and your mum chimed in. Yes, do well, my sweet Ian. We will see you soon, she said. Of course, he replied, mustering up one last smile before hanging up. You sighed with sadness and frustration, and then let your hand holding the phone flop to your side and your gaze hit the ground again. Oh, man, this is going to be the real test of my strength, you thought. Give me a villain any day. I'd much prefer taking on a villain than to upset either my parents or my girlfriends. How can I make this work? You turned and started walking back to the building. You weren't sure if you had it in you to focus on your homework that evening, but you needed to do something to take all of this off your mind. When you got back to your room, Momo was already excitedly waiting for you to tell you about the hot springs and how much it was going to cost. You told her you had already spoken to your dad and he had pre-approved the amount, no matter what it was. Oh, Uncle is so wonderful, Momo gushed. Next time you talk to him, please send him my regards. I will, you replied. Anyway, did you want to organise the hot springs and I'll send you the money? I got to go do my homework for today and hang out with our other girlfriend, you added. I'm in her room tonight. Oh yes, that's no problem. I can sort that out, Momo said with a smile. Good luck and I'll message you if I need anything. Yeah, I'm only a few rooms away too if you need me, you said, picking up your books and heading for the door. Kyoko can explain what on earth that history class was about today. Momo's sweat dropped as you left and shook her head. Oh, my sweet Yin, she thought with a little giggle. You headed off to Jirou's room and knocked with enthusiasm. It's your favourite person, you said on the other side of the door. And if you don't open up, I'll half and I'll blow your house down. So dramatic, Jirou said as she opened the door. Although, if you ruined this room, then they might move me into a bigger one, and you and Momo could stay with me all the time. Like on our getaway? You asked with a smile as he stepped in. Not gonna lie, that was awesome having you both there in the bed with me. Yeah, she said, as she walked back over to her desk and sat down. Oh, you started your homework without me, you said when you saw her homework books open. I was going to ask for some help with that history lesson today. I have no idea about the quirk timelines and important historic dates. I fight the bad guys and I go home. That's what I'm about. Well, you need to know this for the exams, Jirou said. So bad guys or not, one is more important at the moment. Okay, you said with a dramatic sigh as you dropped the books down on her bed and then sat down and held your arms out to her. But first I need Cuddles, otherwise I can't concentrate. Yes, you can, she deadpanned. Nope, this is a fact. I have a condition called Kyoko Help Me. It's where only you can help me and it needs to be in the form of a cuddle, you said with a straight face. It's like looking after a giant baby, Jirou said with a sigh and a hidden smirk. She got up from her chair and walked over to you, opening her arms to give you a hug, but you suddenly grabbed her and yanked her down onto you as you lay back on the bed. Aha! You fell for my plan, you cackled in a villainous voice. Now you shall never be free! Does it look like I want to get out of your arms? Jirou asked as she lay there hugging you from on top. Oh, best outcome, you replied with a smile to her. Cool, let's stay this way forever. We do need to do our homework though, Jirou replied. Yeah, unfortunately. You sighed, doing a crunch to sit up with her still in your arms. We can cuddle after though, Jirou offered as she got off you. Sounds like a plan, you replied with a grin before reaching for your books. Do we start with the worst first? Homework was a lot slower going than you hoped it would be, but when you didn't understand anything, it made it harder to get through. Do you get it, Yin? Jirou asked after trying to show you something. Your mind had wandered into the thoughts of your family and how you were going to approach the idea of staying here, so the homework at hand had taken a back seat heavily. Yin? Jirou asked, but you didn't reply, just kept staring at the books spread out on her bed, so she tried again. Yin? She asked again. Yeah? Yep, what's up? You asked quickly, looking up at her with an almost guilty look on your face. Jirou looked at you, then she remembered that you had been acting a little funny earlier, and so took the opportunity to ask you what was on your mind. Hey, so, she said slowly, I've been meaning to ask if you're okay. I can't read your mind, but you kind of seem like you have a lot on it. Me? You asked with surprise. Nah, I'm okay. Why? No, you just seem a little down, she said again. You don't need to hide anything from me. I know, you said, letting your guard down a little. It's nothing much, it's just about the rooms and being back at school and hot springs. Hot springs? She asked. Yeah, you said, trying to divert her attention to other things that weren't the real issue. I asked Dad if he could chip in and pay for some of the time that we're away, and he said yes, but I'm just worried about how much. It's not like you to be worried about money, she asked, sensing that wasn't really part of the problem. Oh, yeah, I know, but I've gone over budget a little, so I just didn't want him to get mad or anything, you said. You knew Jirou didn't know your dad, and so therefore she wouldn't know that he was completely fine with anything that you spent, especially if it was money spent on your classmates, hero-related things, or study. He was very chill like that. He was a generous man, and he firmly believed that anything could be fixed if he threw enough money at it, something that he did frequently, and for the most part it worked. But she didn't need to know that, and she certainly didn't need to be weighed down by the real issue on your mind. Your dilemma of wanting to stay here after your exchange time was up, but also wanting to be with your family, but also not wanting to leave your girls. How would long distance even work? You wondered to yourself, what if Momo and Kyoko got closer and then they didn't want me in their relationship anymore? That would hurt real bad. I'd be back to square one. You thought sadly, your face falling for a split second. Jirou saw and thought it was about the money and the hot springs, and so got up to come over and hug you. I don't know why you're so worried about this, but I'm sorry you feel so sad about it. Is it something Momo could help with? She asked. She knows about money and money problems. Oh, no, it's okay, you said quickly. It'll sort itself out, I promise. Jirou looked you in the eye. Okay. She says she got back up and went to her desk. She wasn't 100% sure that she believed you, but she dared not think that with you in the room. Better just focus on homework for now. At least we can fix that, she said idly as she sat back down at the desk. Unusual to have sad yin, but stay tuned for next chapter coming tomorrow, chapter 89. I'll see you then.